Hello and welcome back to the Kilted Kickoff. Well, we had Portugal this weekend, so we're going to dive into that. We've got two really fun fixtures this weekend. Joining me as per usual is my lovely co-host Dan. How you getting on, bud?
Good, fantastic. It was a big win against Portugal. Around the amount that I was thinking, there were some good games of rugby. Wales, Australia, England, South Africa. I love the internationals. I mean, outside of the Six
Great.
Nations, this is it. So
Yeah, it's best time of the year. I loved this game, this Portugal game, not just because of the score. Like, yeah, we all knew it was going to happen, but it was the first time I took the little man to
I've
Murrayfield.
seen that the three
Yeah,
generations.
3 generations. Yeah, so that's always going to be a bit special. And you know what? For someone that's not a big fan of noise, really did well. Didn't need his ear defenders. Didn't want them. He took them just in case because I was like, look, it is loud. There's over 60,000 people there. It's not
Yeah.
like an Edinburgh game. And he got in. He sat next to my dad. He sang Flower of Scotland, which was
Mhm.
great. And I was like, do you want to put your headphones on now because the game's about to kick off? And he went, no, I'm okay. Cool.
Ah, good. So
So,
you enjoyed it,
and
did he?
he did, and he met Johnny Matthews, and he met Raffaele Storti as well. So there you go.
Do
It was
you know?
great.
I was wondering how Carter got on at the game. So it's just glad he enjoyed it.
He did.
One I'll just say one thing before we get into the game.
Mm.
I will say this is one thing that Portugal are probably better than any other team in the world at. Portugal's kits, both their home and away kits, are
Stunning.
beautiful.
Stunners, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're probably my favourite kits in World Rugby at the moment is
That's
Portugal's.
fair.
Yeah, their home and away jerseys are both just stunning.
I mean,
Um,
I'm going to say something that probably won't surprise you. I have the home kit.
you've got about every kit. If I was going to say, if I was a richer man, I'd buy the kits, but rugby kits are expensive,
I'm
and
not a
nobody
rich man.
sponsors this pod yet. So
I,
when we
I
get,
am I am not a rich man. I just don't do anything with my free time. That's basically the long and short of it. But yeah, it was a fun game. We all knew we were going to get a win, and people were saying, "Oh, it wasn't perfect. The lineups were a bit scrambled." Shut up! It's younger lads that have
Mhm.
had like next to zero game time, proven their worth to the big boss ahead of the Six Nations and potentially the World Cup. Like Aaron Reid, I've been hyping him up since we've
You
started doing
have.
the kickoff. First time at Murrayfield, 2 tries, and he's just got raw pace. It's just sensational to watch.
He didn't need to use his pace either.
No, he just takes the
No,
piss with it. It's like a third
like
gear jog past. Yeah.
like the first half, I thought, oh no, he didn't impress me, and then second half he shut me up. So, like people will hear me say things, and you'll get bits that clipped, or people say, oh, you said so and so was rubbish, and it's like you never use it as a stick to try beat me with because I'm quite happy to be proven wrong. I mean,
That's all it is. Yeah. Do you know
yeah, I'm
one?
very
Actually,
happy to be proven wrong.
just because it's like it is relative to Scottish rugby. Do you know one player I really didn't get any of the hype around until he moved club was Chris Harris.
Yeah, because he did a lot of
Didn't get
unseen work, Chris Harris.
Saracens.
No, I said he did a lot of unseen work.
Oh, I think he said at Saracens. I was like, wait, what? No, sorry, that's on me. Yeah, no. So like when he first got called up in the Scotland team, he played for Newcastle, and Townsend kept, oh, he's doing really well for his club, blah blah blah. Like the PR answer, and I'd go back and watch the games. I'm like, it's a good job I'm not a head coach because I'm seeing nothing here. And he kept getting picked, and again, oh yeah, he's doing great, and again, I'd watch it, and I'm like, right, again, there's obviously something he's doing that I'm just nobody's seeing. And then he
Hmm.
moved to Gloucester, and I went, okay, fresh start. Prove me wrong, Chris. And then he became the workhorse defensive unit that is Chris Harris, the British and Irish line. I was like, oh yeah, you were a great player in a really rubbish team, so fair enough.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but the game itself, yeah, Aaron Reid getting 2 tries, really putting his hand up for like the wider squad going forward. I don't think anyone's going to be upset if Aaron Reid's in that team and slots in if Staines injured or Doohan's out, or do you know what I mean? Like if you put
yeah,
Aaron Reid in the team, he'll slot in and it works. Freddie Douglas making his debut off the bench.
Yeah, that
Nine,
was the hype around him has been huge for a man that hasn't played a professional club game yet. Like the hype
wild.
around him is huge, and like I knew he was a big lad, but seeing him on he is huge.
Big boy. Yeah.
Like, and he's what 19. Like
He's 19. Yeah.
he's 6 or 7 years away from his peak yet.
Yep.
Like that's I've talked about I won't go already. My big bastard back row.
Freddie
I've,
Douglas is straight in there already.
along Randy Christie at the other side of him.
Oh, actually, just saying that. Think of that for a long term back row
Andy
pair.
Christie, Freddie Douglas.
Yeah. And Big Ben Muncaster, who's only 23 years old himself.
Yeah, because he'd take over from Dempsey or Matt Fagerson, who I'm a big fan of as well. But I think he'd probably be bench cover. Genuinely, he's so abrasive. Fagerson, that is. I think he will be Scotland's Peter O'Mahony, and I've been saying it for a long, long time now.
So, yeah,
But
Freddie
yeah,
Douglas, first, the youngest cap or debutant in 60 years.
I
That's
thought it was ever. I thought that the guy
uh,
that he replaced was the youngest cap, and he just took the record off of him.
I don't know. They worded it like really weird. Like he's the youngest in the last 60 years. So
Oh,
he either is now or he's just the youngest since that bloke. But either way, great
so,
achievement and massive future.
mhm.
Alex Samuel making his debut did very well. I thought
Yeah,
quite well in the lineups in the second row.
Alex
Um,
Craig really impressed me.
Alex Craig did well. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Alex Craig because he's down at Scarlets, but he's meant to be coming up to
He,
Glasgow. So
yeah, he's the future. Him and Max Williamson. I'm telling you now, that's our future lock combination.
I
Is
don't hate it. I like that.
Williamson and Alex Craig, both of them brutal, big. He was such a destructive. I know it's only Portugal, but such a destructive ball carrier when he came
Yeah,
on. And then I thought Williamson against the box as well. I thought, oh, maybe it'd be a test too far, but he was absolutely brutal as well.
yeah,
So for
well,
Scotland, I'm telling you, that's our lock combination. Give it another season or two, I
there you
reckon.
go.
It's
I
those two.
like that.
Heard
And
it here first.
we got the return of Roy Hutchinson, and it didn't disappoint. Out the back pass
Mhm.
to Josh Bayless,
Mhm.
sensational, beautiful
Oh yeah.
stuff. And
Uh,
the man of the hour, Tom Jordan, player of the
mhm.
match against Portugal, got denied a try because of a forward pass, and it hurt my feelings because that was a brilliant run. But
Yeah.
we don't deserve nice things all the time. Just
So
while we're
on
on,
Tom Jordan, well, just before we go on, to what really annoyed me, and I know it's the Bears. You know that Bristol Bears did that Bear Jordan thing
I like
today.
that.
Now,
I thought it was quite
f-
clever.
for those of you that haven't seen it, the Bear Jordans, it's like a bear doing a basketball dunk in the shape of an Air Jordans, and it's
Yeah,
how they announced Tom Jordan signing for it. I feel like they missed a trick because he played for Air to call it Air Jordan AYR.
or AYR.
Yeah.
Oh,
I really feel like they missed a trick with that one. He even just like going from Air Jordans to Bear Jordans. Like,
I thought it was quite
yeah,
clever. Yeah.
the marketing
And
trick
also,
was missed. Yeah.
have you seen the comments like from Bristol fans on getting Tom Jordan?
See, when I clicked on it, I think there was 3 comments at the time. I haven't checked it since.
Buzzing. They are hyped.
Yeah, yeah.
Understandable. Great talent. And
They could.
don't worry, he still gets to play for Scotland. I know that was a weird issue that was coming up. That like, oh, can he still play for Scotland?
Mhm.
Yeah,
He's been capped. Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, he's ours. Yeah, don't worry about that.
They're also chasing down Finn Russell as well. Bristol.
Bristol got stupid money. They've got a wealthy owner
Yeah.
that pretty much owns Bristol, like Bristol
All the
Bears,
sports clubs in
Bristol
Bristol.
City Football, owns Ashton Gate Stadium.
He does that. I think he does the hockey and the volleyball teams he owns as well. He owns a
Yeah,
lot.
he owns Bristol Sport. Yeah,
Yeah. I just wants to put Bristol on the map. But I'll get
yeah,
on to. I've
definitely.
got that written down for sort of us to chat about. But yeah, Finn Russell's got a couple of clubs looking at him at the moment.
He has.
Sorry. I cut you off there
You're
when
fine.
you mentioned TJ. So what were you saying after that?
Just yeah, just a really good performance by him. Taking over from kicking duties from Adam Hastings, which fair play to him.
Hmm.
Josh Bayless did really well getting on the score sheet. Yeah, I don't really have much to complain about. People that are complaining online about the lineup or the fact that Portugal scored 3 tries, shut up. Like Portugal are
Yeah.
a good team. They just need more exposure. Like Storty, Raffaele
Hmm.
Storti, that scored their last try, the winger, plays in the top 14. He plays for Stade Francais. Like he is a prime athlete.
Yeah.
He's a top talent. It's not his it's not his fault that his team don't get the exposure. But when they
Yeah.
got the spotlight, he's going to go like, right, here we go. This is what we can do. And
I know the commentary always focus on the one or two because oh, this guy's a dentist or whatever, but the vast like 95% of the team are professional. They
yeah,
do have one or two players that are not. I know a lot of
it's
the players play
mostly
in Pro
like
D2, but
yeah,
like for those that want to look down on the Pro D2, it's not like the Championship. The Pro D2 is a much higher level than the English Championship is, and most of the clubs in the Pro D2 have better training facilities and better teams than a lot of the sides in the URC or the bottom half of the Prem. It is so competitive, the Pro D2. So
and
yeah,
Ewan Johnson plays there as well. Just keeping it Scottish
yeah,
related. Yeah,
yeah. So the yeah.
but it
Uh,
was a fun game. You got to see new combinations. We got to see Johnny Matthews in a Scotland jersey, so Dan can finally rejoice on that.
uh, for 2 minutes, I felt like he came on too late.
Oh,
But look, I've people complain about it. Look, there's the good, there's the bad. For me, I said that is almost down to the point how I expected it. Like I've mentioned this in my TikToks. I
yeah.
won't bore people with the details of it. I've been working on a rugby algorithm to be a more accurate version of the world rankings for a while to state how good teams actually are. And I texted you before the game and I said, I reckon Scotland are going to win by 39 points. Because exactly what my algorithm worked out, Scotland won by 38 points. So
There you
to the
go.
point, almost exactly what I was expecting. Yes, look, there wasn't cohesion because it wasn't a team that regularly plays together.
Yeah,
The set
that's
piece
what.
was
Yeah,
undoubtedly a disappointment. But other than that, the skill levels between the two teams and the two players showed clearly. Yeah, look, the scrum was poor, the lineup was poor. I won't beat around the bush for that. But if they'd played a couple of games together, does that go away? Who knows?
probably.
As
Yeah.
long as we don't go with that into Australia, I'll be happy because Australia will tear us apart if our set pieces like that. But that is my only complaint
Well,
from that game.
we'll get into Australia in a little bit because there's a game just beforehand, Saturday night at the Hive in the little house next door. Scotland
Hmm.
A versus Chile. Now, I love fixtures like this. Again, you're getting exposure to tier two teams.
Yeah.
I've never seen Chile in the flesh. I know Scotland have played Chile a few times now, but it's always
Hmm.
over there. It's the first time they're coming over here, which is great. And we're recording on Monday evening, and the squad's already been announced. And
Yeah.
Pete
Mad.
Horn, Pete Horn is not messing around with this, and I'm so ready
No.
for it. Dan, I'll get you the honors. I'll let you.
Yeah. So I think he must have went up to Gregor and be like, right, what players can I pick?
Yeah, who
Although
do
the
you
only
not?
thing,
Who don't you need?
yeah, my only thing about this is I think Australia can probably guess who we're going to pick from this squad because there's a couple of big names in it. But
Well,
look,
we'll get into it in a minute, but
yeah,
I'll let you rattle off the. We'll talk a bit in depth about the squad starting against
mhm,
Chile because it's a very good team. I said it's a nice blend between youth and experience.
yeah, and you're absolutely right there. I mean, some of these players I have not watched a lot of. There's a couple of these players, so I'm like, okay. So
Hmm,
I know you know a little bit more about the youth than what I do, but look, let me rattle through the teams. So
okay.
front three of Jamie Batty, Gregor Hiddleston, and Darcy Ray. Now I'm
Meaty front
delighted
row.
for yeah, Batty's going to tear it apart. Like he's quite unlucky not to be starting. Well, not starting, but not to be on the bench for Scotland versus Australia.
Yeah.
Like I rate Sutherland slightly higher than Batty, but I think that I'm not sure if Sutherland's quite match fit. yet.
That's fair.
So
Yeah,
I
no, I
could
get
see
that.
an argument for picking Batty above Sutherland, but he's gone the other way about. Gregor Hiddleston, great player, and Darcy Ray, I think, needs some more game time under him. So I think this is a good opportunity at a decent level for him as well.
And Darcy Ray,
Um,
a great scrummager. If you've seen him at Edinburgh, like
mhm.
Edinburgh might not always win the games, but you could see when Darcy Ray is either starting or comes off the bench, that scrum's a bit more solid. So he knows what he's doing in that area.
Sykes and Ewan Johnson as our
Mm,
locks.
very excited.
Um,
Marshall
yeah,
Sykes has been sensational for Edinburgh. It just hasn't had that opportunity. Ewan Johnson, obviously, with the Scotland team in the summer, came off the bench this weekend against Portugal. So he's made himself accustomed to the home fan base. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm not saying it's going to be a long term partnership, but hey, they're young enough and they're very large boys. I know it sounds stupid being in the
mhm.
second row, but they are big lads. Like Marshall Sykes is a nuisance, and I love it.
Yeah, he is a big lad.
Mm.
We've got a back row of Tom Dodd, Freddie Douglas, and Ben Muncaster. So, like Tom Dodd, I think he is getting on a bit and he needs a chance to prove himself. So, for him, he's vice captain as well. This could be a chance for him, to show a bit of what he's about. He seems to be a bit down the pecking order at Edinburgh as well. So,
Yeah.
I feel like this is a good shot for him to show what he's about.
Yeah. Proper
Freddie
physical
Douglas,
player though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've only seen him once or twice,
Okay.
for Edinburgh, but uh, he seems all right from what I've seen of him. But it's one of these things where you're not going to get your chance. Look, I don't want to go down on him or anything like that, but you think of Rory Darge, like he never got a look in at Edinburgh, went across to Glasgow and
Yeah.
look at him now. So sometimes players, it's all they need is that wee bit of exposure. So I
Yeah.
think
Absolutely.
him, and he's got the responsibility of being a vice captain,
Yeah.
be good for him. Um, Freddie Douglas is just riding the hype train at the moment, so
Ready for.
delighted for him. I hope he gets a try at the Edinburgh A. And Ben Muncaster at number 8. You and I are both big fans of Muncaster.
Yeah.
I think he's great. And you see the passion with him, the national anthems as well,
Oh, actually,
against
both
Portugal.
both of them, him and Freddie,
Yeah,
tears. And you know what,
cheers.
boys? I felt
Yeah. I was there fucking choking up and people just
that. Oh
watching
my
it.
god! I mean, so
Yeah.
much love. Yeah, no,
I, I
I
don't
love it.
I don't know why. Sometimes the national anthem it does catch you off guard. Sometimes I think Scotland more than most. Like I found myself, I've been at Murrayfield and countless times singing "Flower Scotland," and every now and again it does just catch me off guard a little bit.
Just the minute where the pipes fall silent, you get that well bit of this
Yeah,
instant. Yeah,
a wee bit crackly at the
yeah.
throat, and I'm like, yeah. Um. Anyway, moving on to the backs, right? Um,
This
Jamie
is
Dobie
sensational.
and Ross Thompson. Jamie Dobie, very lucky not to be playing against Australia. I thought
Yeah,
he was utterly fantastic against Portugal.
it was.
Um, I thought he was better than Horn against Australia. Um, uh, Look, and when I say I like to be proven wrong, I've been saying for a couple of weeks, in my opinion, George Horn's our best scrum half. I
Mm,
thought that when Horn went off and Dobie came on, Dobie looked better.
there we
There you
go.
go.
There you go.
Yeah. So a lot of love for Dobie. I think he's a fantastic player. Ross
Mm,
Thompson seems to just re-energize himself since moving across to Edinburgh.
yep.
Um, the Rory Darge effect, but going the other way, I suppose,
Oh
instead of
yeah,
what.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I think he's really good, and he's kept Ben Healy out of another team. So it's not just one coach that thinks he's better,
No.
which is a shame because the when Ben Healy was, called to play for Scotland, the Irish fans were in meltdown, so were the Munster fans,
Yeah,
and it hasn't really materialised yet. So I really
no.
hope he's coming with a bit between his teeth. So we're going to have a centre partnership of Stafford McDowell captaining the squad, who I think is an absolutely phenomenal player. Now,
Hell yeah.
I think he's up there with Hugh Jones personally. Doesn't
Oh,
get the game time to show it. Look, that's
I
my
didn't. I
opinion,
didn't. I didn't disagree. I could just already feel comments coming in on
right?
that one,
I,
and
I, I get a lot. Look, I've got nothing against Hugh Jones. I've got nothing against him at all. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's probably going to be a Lion, and he's great. I'm just saying that Stafford McDowell, if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit younger. I think
Uh-huh.
he's a bit bigger. He's fast. He's got a better kicking game. I think McDowell, even though it's 12 and 13, could be the natural successor to Hugh Jones.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So Masesi to Pilotu. Now, I was hoping I got to see him against Portugal, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was so wrong. So just before the autumn started, I did a here's where I see the five uncapped players getting used, and I was like, Tom Jordan's going to feature in every game, and I
mhm,
pretty much got that right. I didn't get the fullback position right. I did say he was going to battle out with Hastings, but I still got it right that he was going to feature in each game. I said Masesi was going to start against Fiji because they've been hyping up him and
mhm,
Sione together for about a year now.
mhm.
And then I was like, he might come off the bench, and he's just not been in it at all.
Yeah. So I'm going to put these last two right, and then I'm going to before I get to the bench, I've got a really hot take that I know a lot of people, especially Scotland fans, are going to be very unhappy with.
Oh
Um,
god, I'm
so
not ready for I'm not ready for
Matt
this
Matt Curry, um,
on the wing.
on the
Yeah,
wing, which surprised me, but even more so, and this ties into the Scotland full squad. Aaron Reid at fullback. Now, I didn't know he had that in his locker. I can see that
I'm intrigued.
Scotland, yeah, but I've been thinking a little bit recently, with Kyle Stein coming in with Blair Kinghorn going to the wing, right? Uh,
Mm.
Tom Jordan being squeezed into the team. I think Scotland are trying to increase their depth at fullback. And now
Probably.
here's where my very maybe controversial opinion goes in. I'm starting to think with the new law changes, our top try scorer, one of them, Duhan's time might be quite limited in a Scotland jersey. Now, hear me out
Mm.
here.
Mm.
So, the new law that's been trialled, that you can't block the runner, you can't interfere with them in any way. So, it has now, you can see that's a clear strategy that's come in. It is now a must that you need to be great under the high ball. And
Yeah.
I think Van der Merwe now has to up his game under the high ball, has to up his kicking game, or the game's just going to evolve past his skill set. As much as he's a freak of an athlete,
Mhm.
if Kyle Stain's great in the air, Darcy Graham's good in the air, Blair Kinghorn's great in the air, from what I see, Aaron Reid looks good in the air. That if that's
Mhm.
identified as a weakness in his game and we can't block the runners anymore, we can't defend him with that.
Yeah.
And Duhan is one of my favourite players, if not maybe even my favourite player for Scotland at the moment. But if he doesn't get better under the high ball, I think his days on the Scotland shirt could be numbered.
I don't think that's too controversial. Based off some of the interaction I've had today, I don't think that's too much of a hot take. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Hopefully not, because I love Duhan and I want to see him and Darcy continuously
yeah,
battle out for the king of the try scorers. But Aaron Reid at fullback, I'm very excited by. I'm also very intrigued with Ross McCann on the opposite wing. If you don't
yeah.
know who Ross McCann is, Ross McCann, fairly new to the 15s, well, in a professional setup anyway. He's a seven specialist. He's been at the Commonwealth Games with Team Scotland. He was at the Tokyo Games with Team GB. The best way I can describe him,
Hmm.
without overhyping him, just like comparison, he can run like Darcy, but can hit like Duhan. He's like a nice little compact
Is he a big
blend of
lad?
no. He's a short king, but he's bulky. Yeah, it's like a perfect little blend. I like it.
Right.
He,
I'm going to let you take over the bench here, right? Just because, if I'm being completely honest with you, I only recognise about three names on that bench.
three names. So, well, you'll have to read it out to me because I am recording on my
Oh,
phone. So,
okay. Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, sorry.
sorry,
Right. So,
sorry.
on the bench, we have Harry Morris,
Yeah,
Mikey Jones, and Finn Richardson.
right. So combined for that front row, they have
Mhm.
two professional games.
Okay.
So
That's
Harry
explained why I'm
Morris, Harry Morris came on the off the bench for Edinburgh. a couple of weeks ago when we were at the Hive,
Hmm.
and that was his professional game.
Oh, was that the Stormers that he
Yeah,
came off the bench? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I think I remember him.
yeah, it would have been. That would have, yeah, the last game. Yeah,
Yeah, the Stormers.
so that's
Um,
his only professional outing.
okay, wow. Okay.
Mikey
Still,
Jones,
mhm,
sorry, Mikey Jones is a always head prop. Usually plays Edinburgh A.
mhm,
Has played one professional game for Edinburgh, but that was like a year ago.
mhm.
So he's Edinburgh A predominantly.
Right. Okay.
Finn Richardson, who will be at tight head, the Glasgow Warrior, is very interesting because he played for Exeter Chiefs, but he would play through like the Prem Cup, and he was at Cornish
Mhm,
Pirates. He has played for Scotland under 20s a couple of years ago. He has not
mhm.
played for Glasgow at all this season since signing. So that's very interesting how to see how he goes. But yeah, it's a very fresh front row.
Okay.
The whole bench is quite fresh, apart from one player that we'll get to in a little bit.
Right. I'm going to apologize for this next one because I'm probably going to butcher the name. Right.
Take your time with it.
J. Jair Oguntibiju. Jair
Gunjibur.
Ogunjibu, is it?
Gunjibur. It sounds more natural if I say it like that.
Oguntibeju.
Gunjibur.
Ogun Ogunt Biju.
Gunjibur.
uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to look some of these lads up.
Yeah, so
Um, and,
he's in the Glasgow setup, again,
mhm,
former under 20.
mhm.
I haven't seen much of him because he wasn't a big feature, if any, in the World Trophy in the summer that I was at.
Okay.
So he's quite untapped for me as well. But hey, I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, if Franco Smith puts anyone forward, I trust his judgment. Franco Smith is an
That's
incredible
fair.
coach,
Yeah.
so if he's given him the go ahead, he must be good. Liam
Mm.
McConnell,
I am so excited for Liam McConnell.
I've heard you
The
mention
hype,
this lad before.
I have mentioned him alongside Freddie Douglas. These two were like that. Like you think Matt Fagerson and Rory Darr just been a nuisance on the flanks. These two
Hmm.
lads were doing it for the under 20s. Liam McConnell was actually the under 20s captain in the summer where we won the World Trophy. He is he's a very tall back row.
Okay,
He could probably easily cover second row, but it's just
he's a big lad,
he's a
isn't
big massive ball carrier. He hits hard. Not so much on the turnovers as Freddie is, but he can get a good turnover now and again. He's
he? Okay.
always got a good shift. He's got a really good leadership qualities on his shoulders already at such a young age. He's signed
Hmm.
his first professional contract with Edinburgh this season. Hasn't
Hmm.
featured yet, but that's not his fault. Just because of the position, just more the position he's in than anything.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm
So
excited to see Liam off the bench.
the halfbacks off the bench are familiar names to most Scottish rugby fans. So
Yes.
Ben Ashfar, who I think he's got a really bright future, but
So
so
excited
does
for Ben.
Jamie Dobie. I've seen him feature quite a bit for Glasgow, and he's an exciting player.
Yes.
And we have Ben Healy in the 22 shirt as
He's
well.
back! Yay!
Hopefully, he gets a little bit more game time. But I wondered if it's a confidence thing because he's gone from winning titles with Munster, and then he was the number two for Scotland for a while. Granted, Hastings was injured, but
Yeah.
he still had to hold on to that number two shirt.
Mm.
Um, and
And
now
now
he's
he's
gone
got the
down to
game.
playing for the Edinburgh A's, and he's now
He's
on the
showing
bench
me.
one day. So he's got a lot. I feel like he's a competitor. Healy, that came across when he came to Edinburgh from Munster. Like he wants to, and he wants to do well. So I reckon he'll
Mm.
have the bit between his teeth for this.
It must be a kick in the stones though. Like, yeah, we're back in the international setup. Like half a foot in the door, and then like, oh, am I starting? No, but Ross is, and he's like, of course he is.
Yeah. Although, look, uh, things can change very fast in sport. You look at Tom
I can.
Jordan, wasn't getting a look in at Glasgow, was playing for Ayr, thought he was basically done, and look at him now. He's just signed big money move to Bristol, and he's cracked it into Scotland as well. So
There you
things
go.
can turn around quickly in sport.
Absolutely.
And lastly, in the 23 shirt, Jack Brown.
Jack Brown, yeah, predominantly a fullback for Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's more Edinburgh A. Has played under 20s for Scotland. See, so here you go. How many times have I said Scotland under 20s and we don't have any players coming through? Shut up. Go away.
Yeah, we've got a fair few players. Look, I get it. We don't bring through as much as England, who've got about 60 million people more than us, and the Irish that have a better system. But we do have players coming through. So
The good
I
ones always
think,
come through.
yeah. So I think for at least the next 10 years, players wise, look with the age of our squad and the age of some of these lads coming through, Scotland are good. Scotland are all right for at least another decade.
Don't worry about
Um,
us. We're all good. And if
so
in
yeah.
doubt, we'll just steer South African. Don't worry about
So I mean, maybe start to worry about us come up to 2040, but come up to 2035 and probably 2036, 2037. We're going to be all right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, 2040 is yet to be seen, but that's a long way off.
But yeah, no, it's a very fresh team. I'm excited. There's a
Mm,
lot of lads really wanting to put their hand up, not just for any other potential Scotland A games. I don't know if there is going to be later on in the season, but even just for the club, like
mhm.
there's young lads that are really pushing. Like Freddie Douglas, come on, get him in bloody Edinburgh team,
Yeah,
please.
do you see him with his mates? I love that picture. His mates were topless with the thread
The
on it,
Fred,
like the
yeah.
American football. I thought that was great.
Um, I'll be at the Hive, loud and proud. I'm taking my father-in-law, so that'll be good.
Um,
That'll be
I
fun.
not sure if I'm going to come yet.
Yeah,
Um, I'm going to Australia on Sunday, right?
okay.
So if I do, I'll probably drive down. I won't have a drink or anything like that.
Mm,
Although I did say that I was going to pick Jen up from work and that I didn't realize how late the Scotland Day game was.
yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, if it was an afternoon game, right? If it was like a 1 o'clock kickoff or two, or even a
Mm,
3 o'clock kickoff, 100% I'd be down there. It's just
mm.
it's a real awkward time of the day
As
for me. Um, yeah. So I'll have to see.
well,
Look, even if I'm not going to be there, I'll watch the game on the TV definitely because it's on BBC iPlayer, isn't it?
is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard on the radio
Okay,
that
okay.
it's on BBC iPlayer. So yeah, so for all you guys, like if you make it down to the Hive, go down to the Hive first of all, right? I don't think tickets are expensive. I think like 15, 20 quid or something like that. They're not
I
much at
was
all.
I was 20 pound for a ticket.
£20. Okay, so there you go. 20 quid for a ticket. You're going down. You're seeing the future for Scotland. You're seeing a higher level than you'd be at club level. And if you've
And
never been down to the Hive before, the Hive's a great wee stadium.
it is.
Um,
Also, just a little bonus point. If you get down early, the team that's going to take on Australia is going to be there to meet the fans. I don't know.
oh
Not,
yeah.
yeah, there you go. Finn Russell just rocking about the Hive. What a dream. Absolute dream.
Keep him away from the pints.
Need them
Yeah.
so need them all right for the Sunday. Um,
Aye.
just because we're mentioning it. Oh, actually,
Mhm.
quickly, just before we move on, predictions for the Chile game.
It's an A team. It's hard to go, and my algorithm
Um,
doesn't cover the A team. So I'm going to say a lot tighter than what a lot of people are going to
okay.
think. Scotland A by 12.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was going to go 10, 15
Hmm.
in that region. Yeah, no, but it'll be fun. Anyway, the big one on Sunday, the last dance for 2024, Scotland
Hmm.
versus the Wallabies. It's already an exciting fixture on its own, but the form the Wallabies are in makes it so much more enticing.
It's so sad. It's going to be Steve Tandy's last game.
People will
After
know
he
what
goes
that.
to
People won't know
Wales.
what you're on about. So I'll let you fill that in that gap before we
So I'm being
continue.
a bit facetious here, right? But they're the rumours that are going round the rugby world that Gatland has already said behind closed doors that he's off, right? This is what's going round. I did a video about this on TikTok today, and the hot favourite for it is Steve Tandy. Now, some bookies have stopped taking bets on this, and the ones that still are taking bets on it, he is hot favourite. Now, they usually know something, so
Yeah.
I think that's more of a done deal that Steve Tandy is probably going to take over from Gatland.
You
I
know what?
thought,
I mean, he is Welsh. He is Welsh.
yeah,
That's probably his dream to lead his country. So can't take that away from him. And he's been a hell of a servant for us. But
yeah,
I did say it to you before we were started recording.
Felix Jones.
Do we get Felix Jones?
You have to spend money to. We'd have to buy him out of contract because
I'm sure. I'm
you know
sure. I'm sure anything to stick it to England, Scotland will be right up for it. So
I'm not sure if England would sell them to a rival though.
if we buy him out of the contract, you can't do anything.
Oh well, they'd have to accept it first. Like I've heard the behind the scenes stuff. It is ridiculous. So he's working remotely for
Yeah,
England, right? For
he's
usually,
in Ireland.
right?
He's in Ireland,
Yeah,
having a cold glass of Guinness, watching England get battered by the box, going like, "Cheers for the paycheck, lads."
yeah. If there was any game that you would have wanted him for, it would have been the South Africa game. Seeing he
Yeah.
did such a good job for him, right? And from what the players have come out, he has no input into them. They don't speak to him, they don't hear from him. So
No,
it's something the RFU have done to save face, to say, oh, yeah, he's working remotely. Essentially, England
he's
don't
not.
want him working for a rival, and he don't want to work for England. So they've told him to go sit in a corner somewhere and we'll pay you. That's so. From what I've heard, Razzie has said publicly that he'd take him back in a heartbeat. I know that Ireland want him as well. So look, if we got him, that'd be some steal. First David Nusafora,
There we go.
then him.
Yeah. You
That'd
th-
be
you thought
huge.
Ireland's years of dominance were great. Wait till we start kicking up wins. There you go.
Oh, they're looking a wee bit rusty at the moment, Ireland.
Mm,
But yeah,
mm.
so Wales getting absolutely humped by Australia.
How good were
I don't know what other way.
Tom Wright is probably the best fullback right now on the planet. Like in form, he is
Ah,
electric. He just puts on a show every time he
mhm.
puts that Wallabies jersey on.
Yeah.
Um,
He is so good.
Len Ikitau doing a dummy
Mhm.
to no one. Don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I was ranting
No,
about that on our group
nobody
chat. I was
there.
like, they, from the Welsh defender, have you just given up at that point? So for
Yeah,
you guys listening on audio, right? He runs there and he goes to do this wee little dummy, and he's the last man out. So there's
there's
no
no
one
one
for him to
else.
pass the ball to, and the Welsh fella still falls for it. I can't remember who the defender was at the time. I don't know
It
if
was
it was
so bad.
Rollins maybe, but he just sort of like looks away, and it's like, oh,
Mate,
I mean,
who are you looking at? Yeah, there's no one
if
there.
the Welsh analysts went into that, right, like he would have got ripped apart by his teammates. So it's like, mate, there was nobody there. Absolutely nobody there. And he sold you, mate. He sent you to the shops. You were halfway down the road. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
but no, Australia are really starting to cook under Joe Schmidt, and people are like, "Oh, are you worried?" No, I
No.
listen. And I'm not meaning this arrogantly. Like, yes, Wallabies are a good team. They have cracking players. They have a world class coach. It's going to be a very exciting game. It's going to be a tight game. But I said 2 weeks ago, I'm not scared of the Springboks. So I sure as hell ain't scared of the Wallabies.
Yeah. I've take four. I'm just trying to think. I had it written down earlier. I have to work out in my head my little algorithm I'm working up for my score predictions.
Come on.
Um, it'd be Scotland somewhere in the region of 7 to 15 points is what my algorithm would have
Hmm,
for that. I'd probably say
okay.
if I were to guess it now, Scotland by 9. I think sounds about
Oh,
right.
okay.
Uh,
I was
yeah,
going to go.
Scotland by
I
9.
was actually, I was going to go a bit tighter than that. I was going to say Scotland by 5, but hey, I don't
Mm,
care. Win's a win, and
yeah.
I have my team sorted.
Oh, I do not. But
I do. Right, you
so
ready?
Not yet, not yet. Let me finish up. I feel like we're jumping about a wee bit. Wales versus Australia, right? Let's finish up this. I know you're getting all excited,
I'm getting
but
excited, man.
are Australia better than we thought they were, or are Wales and England just poor right now?
Oh, you just threw England under the bus as well there.
England are shocking. Well, no, they're not
Um,
shocking. They're better than Wales, but realistically, they think they should be in with the top four. And in reality, they're probably about the seventh best side in the world at the moment. They're not as good as Scotland. They're not as good as Argentina. They're probably not as good as Australia at the moment. And they want to chat about being in the top four. Like, give me a rest, man. They never beat New Zealand. They never beat South Africa. They never beat France. They never beat Ireland, bar that one game where they beat them by a single point because they got a drop goal, right? And then they try to beat the top four. They never beat Scotland. There's they lose to Fiji the other year. They lost at home to Australia. And the arrogance and the entitlement that some of these fans have on them to be like, yeah, no, mate, we're probably the third best test team in the world, mate. I said, no, give me a rest. You're fucking joking. Go away. I mean, tell me you only watch the Six Nations and nothing else without telling me you only watch the Six Nations and nothing else. Like you've been poor for a while, right? And it's when like I made this comment that Scotland are a better team than England, and I didn't think that was controversial. But to English fans, it was oh yeah, we beat the top four more than you do. I was like, well, you don't really. And we beat so your excuses, you lose to the same teams that we do, but by a slightly lesser margin. Okay,
yeah,
that's a
good
good
for you.
defense. How do you do against us, by the way? You lose to us every fucking year.
Yeah, how's that Calcutta
Oh,
Cup weekend?
yeah,
Looks,
yeah.
looks good at Murrayfield, just saying. Because we
They've
have
beaten us.
two.
Yeah, they've beaten
I
us
actually think,
once in the
sorry,
last seven.
just a quick side track there. I think that's the most stupid thing ever.
What?
That like for tours, Scotland and England both have a replica Calcutta Cup, and then whoever actually wins it has the real one. So
Uh-huh.
right now we've just got two Calcutta Cups kicking about in
Well,
Murrayfield.
they they made that because England don't want to give it back. I
I
went
figured it
on a
was something petty like that,
no.
but
I went on a tour of Murrayfield a couple of years ago,
okay.
maybe a year and a half ago or so, and we were in the room and they were giving us the history of all the trophies and that, and they explained to us, yeah, there's two cups. England have the replica, but England apparently keep demanding the actual Calcutta Cup back, claiming that it belongs to them, and the SRU refused to give it to them. They're like, no, we're the holders at the moment. And they go, no, it's our trophies. Well, no. So there's this back and forth between England, but the RFU have sort of said that the next time that they win the Calcutta Cup back, they're not going to give it back to Scotland ever. That if Scotland win the Calcutta Cup off of England, they'll just give them the replica because England are adamant that it belongs to them and it needs to stay down at Twickenham, regardless of who has actually won the trophy.
Hate to burst your bubble, boys. First game was in Scotland, and we've got it now, so it's ours. Get up, you.
Yeah, we won the first ever one.
Yeah,
So and
it's
yeah.
ours.
Anyway, but look, I don't hate England, right? I actually think England are a very, very good international side, and this is why I'm making the algorithm that I'm making because it puts England at fifth, and then the media narrative of this is how did England break into the top four? And it's only because the world rankings have them in fifth, and in reality, they're nowhere near to being fifth. And that's I don't actually hate England, despite this being a Scottish rugby pod. I spent 15 years living down in England. England's like a second home to me, but they're not as good as they think they are right now. They're just absolutely not. For most of our history, England have been better than Scotland, but at this point in time, Scotland are a better rugby team than England. There isn't a doubt about it.
That's fair.
Sorry, I got a bit animated
That's
on
fine. No,
that, but
I'm sitting here talking about Wales, Australia, and you go on a big rant about England. That works for me. But yeah, no, I've got my team sorted,
right.
written down, graphics ready to go. Spoiler for tomorrow's videos.
Hmm.
My squad to take on the Wallabies. I have Pierre Schumann.
Yeah,
I've got Dylan Richardson starting.
yeah, I'd have him too.
Xander Ferguson, Grant Gilchrist, Scott Cummings. This is where it gets interesting because Jack Dempsey's hurt. I have Matt Ferguson on the blind side. I have Roy Darge on the open side. I've got Josh Bayless starting at 8.
Oh, all right.
Um, the back three itself, I've got Ben White, Finn Russell,
Yeah,
Hugh Water in the centres, Duhan, Darcy, Kinghorn at fullback.
yeah. Some people are thinking Kinghorn might be on the wing again. With TJ at fullback, but I don't think they'll make him play 4 games in a row. Okay, I'm trying to think where would I differ from you?
You
I
might
probably
you might differ on my bench.
is Williamson still injured or oh he's
Yes.
still injured. If he was fit, I'd have Williamson over Gilchrist, but other than that, uh, Maggie is
Well,
Bayless. Yeah, no,
I'll say my bench and to see if you could catch anything out on it.
yeah,
So 16, Ashman.
yeah. Oh
Sutherland,
no, Matthews for me over Ashley.
I don't hate it, that's fine. But just because of how like the breaks and all that worked, I imagine it's gonna be
Yeah,
Ashman. Sutherland in the 17. I have
yeah.
Will Hurd in the 18 jersey because realistically, and it's not a bad thing, behind Xander Ferguson, it's open
Hmm.
season.
Hmm.
Right now, you just can all fight for it. You've
Yeah.
got Darcy there, you've got, well, I know Darcy is with the A's this week, but you've got Will Hurd, you've got Elliot Miller Mills, and Will Hurd's actually in better form right now because he scored last week.
Hmm.
I know it's only against Portugal, but form is form. So he's in better form,
Okay.
and he's still only 24.
Hmm.
He's a long term planned prop.
Yeah. How old's Miller Mills?
Yeah,
I think he's
30,
old. He's 30.
31,
Oh,
32.
you make swayed me there because I was going to say I would have went for Miller Mills over Hard, but
I don't hate Miller Mills. If he's on the bench, cool.
yeah, I would say if this was a Six Nations game and it doesn't matter about more long term, I probably would have went Miller Mills. But with being
Yeah.
an Autumn Nations series, yeah, you've swayed me towards Hard actually. I didn't even think of that the age difference between them.
19, I've got Alex Craig.
Yeah, love it. Oh, big fan
Um,
of him.
20, I have. Who the hell did I have at 20?
Back rower.
Jamie Ritchie. Yeah, Jamie Ritchie.
I feel like that gives us a bit light if Bayliss goes down though. I maybe suppose you got Fagerson on.
You could have Crosby if need be. Do you know, there's not much.
Yeah,
Give me Freddie Douglas
yeah.
back.
He can go to. He's a young lad. He can go 2 days back to back. It's fine.
Just imagine if he did double G. I know that's like not like
Yeah.
applicable at all with like player safety and all that, but give me Freddie or give me Big Ben. Anyway, no, I've gone Jamie Ritchie on in 20
Right.
jersey. I have George Horn 21,
Yeah. Hmm.
TJ 22,
Yeah.
and I have Rory Hutchinson in 23 because staff's not there.
Oh, Hutchie. Right. I would have gone. Um. Initially, I was going to go for your props, Suz and Miller Mills, but I'm going to go Suz and Hart now. You've talked me around. Matthews over Ashman.
That's fine.
Um.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm good
Yeah.
with
Alex Craig as the lock. Big fan of Williamson, but he's not there, so Craig gets it from me. I'd
that.
go Crosby over Jamie Ritchie though. I
That's
just
fair.
think he
Yeah.
offers you a little bit more. He's more versatile. He can slot on at lock if needed. He's taller. He's a bit beefier. Um, so yeah, Crosby for me. Uh, George Horn. I'll go for TJ. Um, and I'm trying to think because yeah, it has. Yeah, you'd have to go Hutchinson because Reed's in the A game as well. No, what my?
You can go
Oh,
Kyle Rowe.
Kyle Rowe, but I could also go Hastings.
You could do 22, 23 teaching Hastings, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? No, you're right. I go Rowe. I go Rowe over
You don't
Hutchinson.
know.
I love Rowe, but just for what he offers you and the way it's split out, I would go Rowe. Yeah, yeah, go
See,
Rowe.
that's why I went Hutchinson. There's nothing against Kyle Rowe. I love Kyle Rowe.
Hmm.
Friends with Kyle Rowe, so I probably could pick him on that alone. But no, like TJ covers 10, 12, and 15.
Hmm.
Hutchinson covers 10, 13, and 15. So, do you know what I
I
mean?
didn't know
Like,
Hutchinson could do 15. I just thought he was a
no,
predominantly a centre. I
he
don't
is
watch enough of
predominantly.
him down at the Prem,
No,
if I can be honest.
he is predominantly a centre, but until so the Portugal game doesn't count because that was just as of
Hmm.
right now. The last time he got capped by us was on the tour to Argentina, and he played fullback because Mark Bennett was on the tour, and that was only
Hmm.
2 years ago. Does that not sound mental to you?
Yeah,
There you go.
he's he's one player that I think a lot of Scotland fans want to see more of, but it's really hard with the depth in
Oh yeah.
some positions. Where do you slot him in?
If Rory
Um,
Hutchinson burst on the scene 5 years before he did, he'd be the names. He'd be the first team on a name on that team
mhm.
sheet.
But that's the thing, because even if Huey Piloto went down, right, and it's a big loss to Scotland, if you had a centre partnership of McDowell and Hutchinson, like that's still
Purple, it's great.
nominal centre
I'm
partnership. So,
I'm just going to say this, just to round off the show.
hmm
We have not not top to bottom in all positions. I'm not saying that, but in the midfield, 12 and 13, we have the best depth in the world. I'm just going to. I'm not saying in any order. I'm just going to rattle off the names:
hmm
Sione Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones, Stafford McDowell, Rory Hutchinson, Cam Redpath, Masesi Tuipulotu, Chris Harris. That's 7 already.
yeah,
You've then got Mark Bennett. You've then got James Lang.
yeah, it's it's strong.
You've got
It's strong.
Matt Curry. I've genuinely just forgot Matt Curry there. 10. There's
Hmm.
10, all capped, all bring something different to the table.
Hmm.
Yes, obviously, with the names I've rattled off, you could do a pecking order quite easily. We're not that
Yep.
daft, but like 10 players that, okay, on their day could do a job.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So just to round it off, what did you say Scotland by how much? I'm gonna s-
5.
I'm gonna
Yeah, Scotland
Scotland by
5, I
5
think.
for you. Scotland by 9 for me. So the Celtic kickoff prediction will meet in the middle and say Celtic kickoff says Scotland by 7.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
Meet in the
But
middle.
we'll both be there, and if you see us, come say hey. Don't just say hey to me because I feel weird when I'm standing next to Dan and people do that.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I'm fairly new to TikTok. I've only been on it for a couple of months now. Although I'm starting to gather a wee bit of grip now. I'm getting
There you
close to
go.
getting my first 1,000. I think I'm about to hit the 800 mark. Last I checked this morning.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, but
considering,
your views do so much better than what your followers are, and that's a really good thing as well.
yeah, like some of my views for the autumn are, I think my Greg Townsend one I did a couple of weeks back is on about 32,000 now,
Okay.
which that's been my most popular video. But there's ones I'm doing recently. I'm probably getting about 8,000 a video at the moment, which
Yeah.
considering I don't even have 800 yet, and I feel like I'm doing all right.
See, my
I just
views really
mhm,
like fluctuate. It's really confusing. Like ideally, I have over 10,000 followers, so you should have over 10,000 views. But there's
mhm.
some that's like 2,000 views, and then there's some that's on 60,000 views. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how it works.
It's
The main thing is I make content that I like to hear, like
yeah.
stuff I like to talk about. And if people like that, then cool. If they don't, then life in it. I can't. Everyone's not going to agree.
Well, that's the rule that I made for myself. I said to myself that I'd stop doing TikTok if I didn't find it fun. I do it because I enjoy doing it. If I don't feel like making a video, I don't feel like making a video. So sometimes there has been times where was it last week or was the week before that I said to you that I just took a day off of social media?
Yeah, he just went
I
missing
was
for
like,
the day. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even look at my own ones. Like, I didn't check WhatsApp, didn't check Facebook, didn't check Instagram, TikTok, nothing. It's just like I was like, nah, I like to do that. And the one
Just a
thing
social
about
media cleanse.
yeah, and
Mm.
like I need to get better at it. If I do videos, like a lot of people have said they like match day vlogs and stuff like that. And I'm very much a in the moment type of guy. You know, you see those memes. It's like not a phone in sight. Like at the moment, that is me. Like when I'm at a rugby game and that, and especially if I'm with you, my phone's in my pocket, and
Yours
uh,
hates it next to me at the
I don't
games.
look at yeah. Sorry.
I was going to say you must hate being at the games with me because my phone's like never in my
Yeah,
pocket.
well, the thing is, I only take footage because I see you taking footage, and it reminds me, "Ah, shit, I better do something for
You don't have
my
to.
TikTok or the gram." And it's like the only time I ever take my phone out was like, I'll get a text on my family group chat from like my mum or something going like, "Oh, you at the game today, Daniel?" And I'll just take my phone out and I'll take a picture of the crowd and be like, "Yep."
Yep.
That's other than that, it's that's the only time. And there once I'm at my seat. I think I'll record the anthems, right? And even that, I
Mhm.
feel a bit weird doing. But other than that, my phone goes in my pocket. I become a fan. So
See,
yeah,
I'm
if I
still a
don't like,
fan.
mhm,
I'm still a fan. You hear me shouting, like I'll still blow my voice out at a game,
yeah,
whether I'm recording or not. I might have
I'm
to
look.
behave. I might have to behave before kickoff this week though, because I am working for the All Nation series. So
Well, if you see me, I'll be in a much messier state than than Murray. Essentially,
to be
I've
fair,
decided that I'm going off the booze between after the Australia game and until Christmas Day. So I said, go to the Australia game,
you've
have,
only
have
really
a
give
proper
yourself
go
about
out.
2 weeks.
Sorry?
You've only really give yourself like 2.5 weeks off the drink, but
It's about 6 weeks in between, is it? I think it's about 6 weeks.
it's only 37 days till Christmas.
What is it? Hold on. How long is it? So it's Sunday, 1, 2, what's it, 8, 3,
So,
4.
so
Okay,
7 weeks, actually 7 weeks. Sorry, I missed it.
4.5 weeks. Oh, it's 4.5 weeks for that. I always forget how late in the year it is. So yeah, no, you're right. It's not that long. 4.5 weeks off the drink. So
I'm not
about a
saying
month.
not do it. It is a good thing that you're doing. I wasn't trying to like
Mm.
don't do it.
I just, I'm not. I only really drink heavily, sort of at games and that. But the thing
You mean
is,
when
like,
I'm
I'll have
driving?
yeah, yeah. We go to Edinburgh games or whatever. Murray, I'll drive to the tram stop, and he'll just hear me sort of take something out my coat pocket.
Yeah, he always brings us a tinny for the road or a flask or something, and I can smell it, and it smells amazing. But I'm a good boy, so I don't. There is a reason why I drive to most of the Edinburgh games. Though.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, well, if I wasn't doing it, if you wanted to have a drink or so, going to the Edinburgh games, we might take turns at driving. Maybe every now and again, I'll drive you for a change.
It doesn't bother me, honestly. I'm there for the rugby. If we have a drink, great. If we don't,
Mm,
saves me money. Not that I spend much money.
yeah. Well, look, that's my plan behind it. Because look, I'll be a month until Christmas, right? And
Mm.
then my birthday's in January. I've got my op in January as well. And the second of like almost to the day that I've recovered from my op, um, it's Six Nations time. So I'll be back on
Oh,
it again.
because he's not timed that perfectly.
Yeah, because I'm having my op on the 14th of January, right? And I got told I'm looking approximately 3 weeks recovery time. 3 weeks after that, it's the opening weekend of the Six Nations. So
Oh
it's
man.
like
Oh, man.
I'm straight into it then.
But there you go. We've got Scotland winning by 7. We've got Scotland A winning by say 12 on average.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. We'll be back next week covering uh, the Scotland A game, the
Hmm.
Wallabies game, and then we'll also be looking into the return of club rugby because Glasgow and Edinburgh are back in action next week. It never ends
Oh,
on this show.
yeah.
But
Who's our first fixtures back, actually?
Glasgow have the Scarlets and Edinburgh have Benetton.
Okay, right. I was going to say because both of our international players are going to be rested for that. I was hoping, okay, all right, okay, Glasgow's B team could take the Scarlets A team, so they're fine, and Benetton basically have the whole Italian squad will be rested for that game. So right, we're good. Um, last thing, right before we finish it off, and I know we always do this every week. Tease we're going to finish for bloody ages. What do you think of the transfer news about Finn Russell? The 5 clubs that have come in for him.
So Racing come in from it just tells me that they've hit panic central on Owen Farrell.
Yeah. Well, look,
That's all that
you
tells
my
me.
opinions about Owen Farrell
You
as
have
well. And tell what says it as well. Instead of Saracens going Owen Farrell come back, they've gone for Finn Russell as well.
yeah. I can't
Ah,
see him. I genuinely can't see him in a Saracens jersey.
oh, it break my heart. A
That would,
break
yeah,
my heart. And
that's a sickening scene
Jake
that
could
no
never shut
one.
up about it either. Jake would not shut up if he went there. Um, I
Plus, then
don't
you're
think he'll
just
go over to Japan.
Fergus. Hmm?
I said I don't think he's going to go over to Japan to see Greg Laidlaw.
He's already said that he's got a good few years left. He's not going to
Mm,
Japan yet. I do like the
no.
fact that it was Greg Laidlaw's team that went, Finn,
Yeah.
come on.
Come on, come
Um,
along.
come on. Who else? What Stade Francais?
Stade Francais. Yeah.
Nah. They're
There
not
was
good. They're big enough name wise, but they're not good enough.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, they have
They're
some heavy
not
hitters, but they are not a good team.
no, no. Bristol Bears.
Bristol Bears who just signed Tom Jordan. You're getting greedy now, Bristol.
Yeah, so what is that just gonna be 10-12 axis for Scotland,
Well,
TJ and
well,
Russell? You
obviously
move
when Bristol.
you move Sione to 13.
I forgot to say this earlier when we talked about the Jordan transfer.
Mhm.
A lot of Bristol fans were asking, so what's happening to Malins then because of Tom Jordan? Like, wait, is Tom Jordan going to be the fullback at Bristol because they've just signed a young under 20s guy from Argentina that is electric. I thought he was going in to replace Adrian McGinty at 10.
You know, the thing is, I'm pretty sure Jordan can play on the wing as well. Like other than
Oh, for
scrum half,
God's
I think
sake.
he can play anywhere on that back line. And like his skill quality doesn't seem to drop wherever he plays. Like me and you were in shock when he went into fullback because he's never done it for Glasgow and he didn't look out of place at all. He looked great. He can kick, he can pass, he's
Mhm.
strong. Like the one thing he's got over both Russell and Hastings, and it's one of the most undervalued aspects I think of Tom Jordan's game that gets overlooked is he's an athlete. Like he is a strong brute of a guy
Mm.
and the pace he has, like he's rapid, he's strong, and he's got the skill set. So, and I can see why Townsend played him where he did because he's too good to not play.
I get that.
Yeah.
Clearly not after the squad I put out, but hey ho.
Oh, yeah.
I do like Tom Jordan. It's just you can't pick everyone. And I say this every week. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited. There was rumours just because we're on about transfers, there was rumours Ben Healy might go to Glasgow,
Yeah, I saw
which
that. I saw
would
that.
be that'd be interesting considering that was the original plan.
Yeah, but the thing is, Franco's very particular with who he picks. I'm not. Is he a Franco player? I'm
Probably
assuming
not.
during the off
Probably
season,
not.
Franco probably comes across to the training sessions. I wouldn't be surprised if Franco Smith sits alongside and just observes Gregor Timson's training sessions to see how they perform other players.
Probably.
Or he goes back to South Africa to see his family for a couple of weeks. I know his wife and daughter still
Mm.
live in. He's at Durban. I think they might live in, but somewhere in
Is he
South
living?
Africa.
Is he living out of suitcases?
Well, no, he's been living here for years, but he did an interview and he said that his daughter's education was at like a vital part,
No.
and he didn't want her to uproot her life and come to Scotland, so they've stayed in South Africa, and his wife stayed there as well, which must be fairly difficult for him. Like, but
Yeah, it's not easy.
he sounds like as a community aspect, that's he sounds like the head of like the Glasgow sort of community there. So he does a lot of like off the work pitch. I know he does a lot of work with like the girlfriends and the family members of the Glasgow team to make them feel included, to have more of a community aspect, so they all have like a big support network, and it's one of the reasons that Glasgow gels so well. Is sort of his off the pitch stuff. But yeah, he sounds like a fantastic coach.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably a future Scotland coach. But anyway, that's for another day. Right, we have been well over an hour. We struggled to keep this under an hour, so let's go and end it there. It's
We were doing
midnight, and I've not had my dinner yet. So
that's mental, but that's fine. Yeah, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Follow Dan on TikTok. He's at Rugby Realm. It's in the brackets on the screen. If you like what I do,
hey,
hit the follow button on TikTok as well. I am at Blissful Rugby.
boo.
Follow me on Instagram because I'm trying to get those numbers back up. It's
Mhm.
it's it's Blissful Rugby. Don't just type in Blissful Rugby because it's the old one, and I don't know if that still works, and I don't want to find out.
Yeah, you might get scammed.
Yeah, I definitely didn't earn £15,000 by clicking a button.
Yeah, and they used a picture of your kid as well. That was grim.
Yeah, we spoke about that the other week. But
Yeah,
yeah, please follow us on all the social medias. We're on all streaming platforms now. Dan finally got Apple Music
yeah,
sorted. Yes,
yeah.
there we
I've
go.
not checked it. We had a verifying process, but it said it'd be up within 24 hours. I've not actually gone to check. So look,
Not yet.
it
We might be.
I've got it linked. So if you are on, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, right? For the algorithm, you'll probably be the first to it. Please give us that 5-star rating, that juicy 5-star rating. Give
On.
me a comment down below because I've set it come through. If you comment on Spotify, Apple, whatever, it does come through to my mobile, and I share everything with Murray. So if we do get any feedback or anything you want us to talk about or anything you'd like us to mention, just let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are now on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon Music, and we're on YouTube. We're on a lot of the little ones like Podcast Addict and a lot of the other ones as well. So basically, on almost all good streaming platforms now, if it exists, we're there.
There you go. That's one way. You can tell Dan does all that side of things. I just edit the YouTube side of things and make all the TikTok clips.
Yeah,
That's it. That's my side of things.
you
But
get on them TikTok clips.
get those. Actually, the clips do all right. The clips do quite well. But yeah, always a joy talking to you, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'm gonna go and get something to eat. Thank
Cool.
you, everyone, for listening. Oh, by the way, we don't mention this a lot. We're also on Facebook. For
Oh yeah.
you, we've got a community on Facebook that we created, and we need to push more. But we're on Facebook.
Well,
Just type in the
I'm not.
kick us off there. Well, yeah, you're
I'm
not
not
on
on it.
Facebook.
I'm not on it anymore.
I'll have to re-add you to that one. Yeah, Murray got hacked a while ago, so well, yeah,
So
we are on there. It's quite a small community. We are trying to slowly build a community on there for everyone just to have a chat. If you like our podcast, I can only assume that you like rugby more than the average person. There's 101 football forums out there. There's not that many for rugby, so that's what we try to be. Anyway, that's all for this week.
there we
Thanks
go.
so much for listening, and we'll be back, happy or not, after the Australia game. I'll see
We'll
you
be
then.
happy. We'll be happy. Don't do this. Don't go pessimistic. Optimistic. No, we'll be back happy.
Optimistic.
Don't worry about him.
Scotland by 9.
Scotland 2 for 2 next weekend. There you go.